Okay, continue. Washing for bread. The poskim discussed at length how much bread must be eaten to require a person to perform mitzvah of Netilas Yadayim. Washing one's hands and when the bracha should be recited. In practice, one will eat amount of bread equivalent to 2 kizesim. One washes with bracha al Netilas Yadayim. If one will eat less than 1 kizayis, one should wash one's hand but not recite bracha al Netilas Yadayim. Okay, so let's try to understand. One second, or we read a little more. Okay, let's read a little more, then we return and explain. When one eats a kizayis or more, but less than 2 kizayis, there is a question regarding her obligation to say bracha al Netilas Yadayim. Ashkenazim who make the bracha al Netilas Yadayim, even when eating amount of bread this amount of bread have paskim to whom to rely. However, it is best to eat 2 kizaysim in order to avoid doubtful situation. So let's stop here, go to the beginning and explain. So there are three scenarios that could be with the eating of the bread, right? Now we're looking at washing for the bread. So one is less than kizayis. So kizayis is, we said, approximately 1 ounce, 28 grams. So it's not a lot, right? One scenario is below kizayis. One is between 1 kizayis and 2 kizaysim. 2 kizaysim is called kibeitza. So it's like 2 ounces, a little less than 2 ounces, right? And the third scenario is a kibeitza, so 28 grams, and 56 grams. Okay, 2 ounces. Okay. So discussion is when do we say the blessing? So if person eats less than kizayis, according to all of the opinion, she does not say blessing, or he does not say blessing. No, nobody say. Why? Because it technically not considered to be eating, right? So as we explained in different classes, so what does it mean to eat? Eat meaning that you get in some satiation from food. And our sages explain, unless you eat kizayis, meaning 1 ounce, you're not going to get any satiation. And plus, we said also in a specific period of time. Okay, which is 3 to 4 minutes approximately, right? Okay, so if it's less than kizayis, less than 1 ounce, no blessing. If it's more than kizayis, right? Let's say all of the cases that are clear. Less than kizayis, no blessing. More than 2 kizayis, right? Kizayis, 2 ounces, yeah, you say blessing for sure. Everybody agree. So the problem is when somebody would eat something like less than 2, but more than 1. That's the thing. So there is a Ashkenazi Catholic. I think Rabbi Moshe Feinstein Zatzal. I think it was him, one of the strongest opinion. So in case of the need, so a person can say actually wash with a blessing, even if a person is going to eat 1 ounce. Okay, so in case of the need, if she cannot eat more, okay, what can you do? Or he cannot eat more, so let them say the blessing. But otherwise, it's preferable to go according to all of the opinion, if possible. So and eat 2 kizaysim. So it's not a lot. So if you weigh your piece of bread, it's not a lot. Okay, but of course, if a person cannot eat bread, that's a different story. Continue. When the quantity of bread to be eaten is discussed, it prefers to eat in that quantity within the time span of kidei achilas pras. The time it takes to eat kibeitzim of bread, 3 kibeitzim of bread. Opinions vary as to how many minutes comprise this time span. Some poskim maintain it is 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so where did we get these 3 to 4 minutes? As we said, in biblical time, people usually, most of the people were very poor and then eat bread. Like that was the main meal, right? Two times a day they would eat this piece of bread. And as they're saying that this time spent to eat this portion of bread, which is considered meal, is 3 to 4 minutes. So it's not, as we understand, it's not a lot of bread. But and then plus, if you eat only bread, so it's not a big deal to eat that much. Okay, so it's 3 to 4 minutes. But we also said that it's there is opinion up to 9, but that's very lenient opinion. Not everybody agree. So 3 to 4 minutes is the most optimal way to do mitzvah. And another thing that I want to point out that here it says this time span of 3 to 4 minutes is to eat 3 kibetzim of bread. So 3 kibetzim of bread meaning approximately 6 ounces, right? So it's a little stricter opinion. So we go like when we say how much mizonos, how much cake you need to eat in order to say Birchas Hamazon, we actually say 8 kizesim. So, but even though in the book of Halachos of Brachos he always say 4, right? 8 ounces, meaning 4 kibetzim. But I always say, I mean, even though it's not in that book, but there is a strong opinion that it's actually 3 kibetzim. But we can always rely on a lenient opinion because in the case of the need. Okay, continue. A situation may arise in which a person feeds someone else bread, whether a child, sick individual, or an elderly person. The one feeding the bread does not need to wash her hands, but one eating does. This is even if one is eating does not touch the bread at all. Likewise, in one using a utensil to eat the bread, she must still wash her hands. That's very interesting halacha. And just to draw the parallel, we learned when we were talking about cutting nails, right? We said that a person who cuts, if she cuts her own nails, so she has to wash her hands. Right after that, that's okay. That's obvious. But we said even if somebody else is cutting your nails, so you have to wash your hands. Because why? Because you have this impurity. And here is like very similar halacha. So a person who is eating the bread must wash their hands. And we're even saying that even if this person is not going to touch the bread, right? For example, a little baby or elderly person, right? So he cannot eat by himself, and there is a lady, let's home attendant or something, his daughter, right? So she's going to feed this person, right? So she has to wash his hands. I mean, help him to wash his hands. The one who is eating must wash his hands, even though he's not going to touch his hands, the bread, even though he's going to eat with utensil, let's say with a fork and a knife, right? And he's going to cut the piece of bread in his plate, not touching the bread, must wash his hands. Okay. So in case of the need, there is no water, there is he cannot wet his hands, wherever he has to wear gloves or some bags or something. But it's very extreme situation. Otherwise, whoever is eating must wash their hands. Whoever is feeding is not required. Okay.